Scene on BBC Radio London with Aurie Styla.
This is The Scene.
Loving that one, 21 seconds, so solid crew in the building. I've got Slim, I've also got Swiss, and I've got Marianna Zappy. You guys good?
We're good.
Good. Nice. We're on a bit of a come down because it was such a lift when you sang Marianna. Such a lift, and now it's like a vibe. So we don't want to break the holy vibe you've just left in this room. It's been nice. It's been a powerful voice there. Powerful voice. All right, got some topics right here to discuss. This one, I wanted to wait until Marianna was in the room for this one because I wanted not just the male perspective, I wanted the ladies' perspective. Do you guys know who Joe Budden is?
Yeah.
You know who Joe Budden is?
Pump it up.
That's him. Are you familiar with his podcast?
Yes, I am.
I'm a fan of his podcast, but he's been causing a bit of controversy recently. His podcast, he had to issue an apology after making comments about Carnival on the latest episode of the Joe Budden podcast. It angered the Caribbean community. And I will quote what he has said. Just got to get a thumbs up from my producer. The last word in this, do I have to change into something else? Or should I just say, I'm going to give it another word, yeah? All right, cool. So one of his quotes, it said, and I'll give you a reference so you understand. He said, girls can't wait to put on carnival costumes and be, it's a H word, but be garden tool. Like a garden tool, you know, like one of them. Okay. But the other word reference, you know what I'm talking about?
Our carnival.
Okay. Marianna's got opinions already. First, well, before I even get into more detail, Marianna, so far, what is it you think about that comment? Girls can't wait to put on carnival costumes, fetting outfits.
Where is Joe Budden from?
He's from the States. He's from
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Okay, and our girls, British.
No, not British. Carnival around the world.
Down. You could talk about my girls, them London girls like that. And you know,
he was ready.
No, man, I was ready. I was going to tell them about Halloween girls and the trick and treat girls. And don't start me off, mate. Yeah?
Marianna, firstly, as a lady who's on the show today, what do you think?
I think that if we're talking about culture, we don't have the right to judge someone else's culture.
Yes, of course.
And everybody has the freedom to express who they are, the way they want to express themselves. And, you know, if someone is beautiful and, you know, as a part of their culture, they wear a costume that represents who they are and, you know, their ancestry, why not? And, you know, I don't think that nobody should ever look at a girl, no matter how she's dressed, and judge her for the way that she's dressed, you know, despite carnival, that's beyond carnival, right? So I think it's, you know, he apologized, and rightly so. Do
you go to carnival? Do you wear masks?
No, I don't wear a costume, but I do go to carnival. Always around the Abashanti corner.
Obviously.
You know, so you know, I love carnival. I love the color, the smells, the community, and the unity. Because there's a lot of misrepresentation of carnival as it is and as it stands and what it is. You know, and if people who actually express those views would come along and just have some fun and eat some jerk chicken, they'd probably change their minds.
They enjoy themselves.
So
Slim, as I'm going to call you the resident Caribbean. As the resident Caribbean on here, I'm going to call you today. What's your views? I mean, Budden said that about girls who go to carnival. The Caribbean community was enraged.
Which carnival though? Because there's so much carnivals around the world.
There's many.
And especially in
New York. Is he just talking
well?
Carnivals all over in general?
Well, I believe because there's carnivals right now out in the Caribbean now. It's the beginning of carnival season, so he's probably seen people put up their pictures in their mass outfits.
Trinidad,
exactly, just went, didn't it? So I can imagine he's probably seen that and then made a comment. So let's assume, without knowing fully, that it's in reference to carnival pictures he's seen recently. That would be the carnivals in the Caribbean at this moment.
Well, carnival is what? About costumes, and it's usually scantily costumes, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're supposed to turn up in a V-neck or you know what I mean? It is down to behaviour, but you can't just put that on carnival. At any given nightclub, every week. Do you understand? Every week. Carnival's only like seasonal or at certain points of the year around the world. You're talking every single week.
I've been in Liverpool when it's Liverpool in February, you know. I come from a comedy show afterwards, they're out there partying and it just looked like they were in Ibiza. in their outfit
In
code.
Italy, it's carnival season right now, and everybody wears costumes. They're not the same costumes as you would see during Caribbean carnivals.
Yeah.
But you might have a girl dressed up as Spider-Man.
Okay, so it's a little different, but they're still dressed up in different ways.
They dress up in different ways, and I don't hear anybody talking outrageously about a girl wearing a Pope costume.
Now, I'm going to say this as well. He has apologised. I mean, you mentioned that already. He said, we're not discussing... His apology went like this. We're not discussing carnival, Caribbean culture or anything of the sort, and would never... I never would. As I'm well aware of the strong and proud history and heritage, to anyone who heard that conversation and felt offended, I'd like to humbly apologise. And the reason why that has happened, because he's had a lot of backlash, and people were saying things of his commentary was basically saying it could represent our culture incorrectly. I mean, the Know Your Caribbean Instagram site basically had said, I'm enraged by the commentary, not only him disrespecting the root of carnival, but that a man with a following of millions will responsibly plant assumptions to unknowing listeners. This is how women from the Caribbean or others who take part would be looked upon. So, Swiss, what's your view?
I'm glad he got checked and it's a teachable moment. Joe Budden always says all sorts of ignorant things.
He's
on the
reckless with
podcast.
what he says sometimes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Jamaicans
and he
checked
actually
him.
knows what he's doing.
Jamaicans checked him. That's why it really wide. Jamaica will phone the house direct, Let me speak to Joe. Like he knows him. Like I've met before. I want to speak to Joe. Who is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like you phoned his house. Who is this? Where Joe? Let me talk to Joe.
The fair skin one.
Yeah.
You get me? The fair skin one,
Time
The
to come on,
Jamaicans
like-
always call you whatever attribute they see first. The long fierce you, the big foot brother. You know what I'm saying? The fair skin one. You know what I'm saying? That's a Jamaican thing.
That is. They checked him. They checked him quick. You understand? They did. They checked
So
him.
I mean, someone generalizes and says all women this or all women that,
course, it's
you
not
know
bad.
they're already wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? So he said that he's apologized, and it's a teachable moment. For those that didn't know, they can now learn about it a bit more. And it's as I say, a teachable moment. So yeah.
I like that teachable moment.
Teachable moment.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
like
nice way
that.
of saying you're messed up.
Yeah.
You're messed up, brother.
Bad.
Yeah, man. You made a mistake and you have to learn, or we'll contact you again. Welcome, Joe. Again. After we don't have our conversation.
Yeah, you know this, innit? Don't make me call again. You know the ones? Don't make me call you again. Now you got friends.
Oh, man. All right. And I've got another one I'm going to talk. This one's a light one. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's a light one. In fact, the fact that I said light one, you'll understand when I say this. So I'm sure everyone here is familiar with who Will Smith is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will Smith he's now been casted as as King Richard, who not King Richard is of the UK, not like Richard Arthur, not that, not the royal line. Telling the story of Venus and Serena Williams, his father Richard. Now he's had backlash on this. Get this, is because they feel that Will Smith is not dark enough to represent the father of Serena and Venus, the Williams sisters. Now, for those that don't know who Venus and Serena is, two tennis champions, they're sisters, and they are both fantastic tennis players, and they've had a difficult journey because not only are they great tennis players who are sisters, they are also black women who have felt the backlash of being black women in the sport.
Yeah.
So this story is about mainly their father, who's been able to help his sisters and teach them and coach them to get through this. One person tweeted, "This shouldn't happen. Will Smith is not dark enough to play this role. So what we shouldn't do is erase the fact that Richard was received the way he was in tennis because he was a dark-skinned black man." Next caller. That was a tweet that was said. Do we feel that Will Smith shouldn't be playing because he's not dark enough as a black man, or is it...
If the world wasn't set up the way it is, then yes. But with colorism and the fact that, darker skinned black people don't always get the same opportunities as maybe lighter skinned black people.
Yeah.
And the struggles that he had integral to the story, being a dark skinned black man, as you mentioned, he didn't get the maybe public praise that he deserved because of who he was and how he was, how he's reflected in the movie should be how he was maybe in real life. Do you get what I'm saying? Just to honour him.
That's
what I'm saying?
That's what I'd say.
Okay.
Historically, casting certain people for a part that we feel maybe they shouldn't be part. I think if it's as I said, something about history should be as near to the point. All right, I'll give you an instance. You've seen Ali. Did you watch when he played Ali?
Yes.
Now, because of his skin complexion, and obviously, you know, he got the mannerisms, and it was more believable. If Ali was cast as like a dark guy, would Ali have been, I'm not saying the acting would have been any less, but would it have been as believable? Seeing as the image we have of Ali is,
he was a bit more fair, and there was something to his
do you
fairness
see what
that
I'm
was
saying to you? So if the person that he's playing, Richard, is a much darker guy, well, maybe I mean, come on, we've got millions of actors out there of colour and different shades. Yeah, you must be able to have found someone more.
Like an Idris, who's darker, could have done. And
that could have done. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I have to. It's important for me to say, actually, it's not confirmed. He could play this role.
So why are you making trouble and starting whispering? That's what I don't like about the younger generation, you know. You make me beat up the man, you know, and you ain't even hearsay. Now the man's gonna hear about
after
this.
He says,
you understand? Yeah, it's not confirmed though.
No.
The question, you know.
It's been out there that he has been approached for the role, but the backlash before that has been, if he accepts, it's not fair. So it's not a thing where it's just us talking. It is a potential.
Even with some of these companies, they understand reaction culture. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
So even the fact that they've put it out there as he
just
could
to test,
be,
to
just
test the waters.
Do you know what I'm saying? They know they're going to get that
character. If it's fictional, it don't matter.
Yeah.
So your James Bond, it don't matter. Historically, they like James Bond to be played obviously by a white guy, but you could change it because it's not.
It's just a role. It's just anyone
but
could
if
be
it's
James Bond.
factual and proper history, you've got to, for believable, you know.
Okay, so on that aspect, I understand that, and I feel like maybe that's probably why. I mean, this should have happened in terms of maybe people going, he could be played by a man who's darker.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, Slim, me and you, different complexions. You're fairer than I am.
Yeah.
Would you say that your journey in comedy would have been a bit easier than mine because of your complexion being fairer, or would it be equally as difficult?
No, because we're both on the urban circuit, and I don't feel on the mainstream white circuit that matters. They've only got one of us at a time on stage. Anyway, so it don't matter. It's not two of you in the building. They won't get confused. Yeah, it's just you. So I don't think there's. I mean, obviously it does happen in life, but where the stage concerned now, I don't believe me being one shade and you being.
That's a micro analysis. Whereas if you take Soul Solid, some people will say, well, the light skinned ones get a bit more love than in terms of how they're representing Harvey, Romeo, Lisa. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
I've had girls come up to me and say, you know what? Why are the light skinned ones always getting the? Or why did you have more light-skinned girls?
Mega got attention.
Yeah, of course, I know, but that's
love.
Because Mega is held as the guy that ran things. Do you get what I'm saying?
I would say it's because Harvey and
that's
Romeo
wrong.
never kept their T-shirt on. Big up Harvey, Romeo, but they
how many of them was there? Quite a few.
About
when you
79.
There's light-skinned people in there that I'd walk past now. There's to me, an older generation, there's only about 5 of you. 4, 5 in Soul Solid. That's how big Soul Solid is. And then you got the bread.
The cover had a queue looking like an entry to a rave.
And you think, I'm not going to recognise all them. You better break it down to 3 of you. Do you know what I mean? That's older
like
people.
21
I can't
seconds
remember
where
all of them,
everyone was
you know what I mean?
different characters and represented.
But if they tried to get everybody in to do a lyric, that song would have been 4 seconds.
Yeah.
I got 4 seconds to go. Next man. Got 4 seconds to go. Next girl. It would have been quick. To squeeze everybody in, you would have had to have 4 seconds.
But the whole crew, as I said, you're right in life that it can be like that. But I think where Soul Solid was, I know there's like people in, what's the Neutrino guy?
Neutrino,
Yeah.
It was way after. Is when he was doing his own song. I didn't.
No, that was before. Neutrino was actually the first.
Before,
Bound for the Reload.
I didn't notice him.
Yeah, Bound for the Reload.
And he's like skin. I didn't notice him, man.
Yeah, and he was actually supposed to be on 21 Seconds as well, but
so
I think he
happened?
got the verse in a bit late.
Oh,
Neutrino was meant to be on 21.
Okay.
Yeah, he was meant to be on there.
Oh, that would have been a different
That would have been
song.
dope, yeah.
Oh, man.
You see, you didn't know that. If I didn't ask that question, you wouldn't know that. It took for an older to answer the...
All right, Mr. Journalist.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Journalist. Listen, I would love to talk to you lot for a lot longer, but I have to let Duncan Bartz come in and do his thing. But before we go, I want to know, how can people get in contact with you first, Slim?
Slim Comedian on all social networking sites. Slim Comedian, all one word.
Okay, what about you, Swift?
At SwissWorld_ on Instagram and at SwissWorld on Twitter.
Okay, and the amazing Marianna Zappi, how can people get in contact or follow you?
Is the real Marianna Zappi on Instagram and Facebook and
Nice.
Twitter and the website. So.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a great show with some great guests in. Marianna Zappi performed. If you want to hear that back, make sure you download the BBC Sounds app. Also, I had Slim and Swiss. We were talking some great topics. Download the app, listen back to the show. I will be back next week, Monday, 8 till 10. After me is the great Duncan Barks. Make sure you don't go anywhere. This is The Scene, BBC Radio London. We're out of here later. That sound like you, Slim. Later.